And we are live. Very sorry about the delay, folks. We are just now getting started here. This match today will be EMP versus JGX, and it will be the battle for Div A first place. EMP is at a slight disadvantage here, currently 3 points behind JGX. So in order to come out of this as a tie for the first place and then go to the tiebreaker, EMP will need to win 4 drops and lose 1. However, if they do win 5, then they will solidify their place as Div A champions. We are just now getting started here shortly, and I will swap the stream over to the MWO lobby once both teams are ready. Now, one thing, so JGX is already locked, waiting for EMP. One thing to note, though, is that EMP has extended their roster significantly this year, picking on players from Eon and also One Last Bite, who was from 228. So EMP is no longer just an exclusively EMP team. While JGX, no new additions recently that I'm aware of, and they are all still running that singular JGX unit tag. Just waiting for EMP to lock here, and then we are good to go. Oh, Lizzie is readied up. Oh, Stimrog. And Chimera. EMP is going backwards. And EMP is locked, and drop 1 can now begin. All right, so on the JGX side, we are seeing Naveed in a Firestarter, Jiffy in an Executioner, Data in a Nightgear, Nate in a Veagle 2, Krasnopesky in a Black Lantern Belinarius, Dargor in a Timberwolf D, and Dario in a Flea 17. EMP side, we are seeing Lizzie in a Timberwolf A, Bowser in a Linebacker, One Last Bite in a Vulcan, the Red in a Wolfhound, Stimrog in a Firestarter, Seleth in a Black Lantern, and Chimera in a Death Strike. So one thing right off the bat here is that EMP is running a very fast wolf pack, running 2 mediums that can keep up with the lights and a linebacker as well. And then it seems Lizzie and Chimera are going to be pulling up the rear with the Timberwolf and the Mad Cat doing the trading. Kraz trying to get an early cap on Theta, but unable to get it due to Bowser overwatch with the ER larges on a linebacker. I believe it's just Laser Vomit then. And it seems JGX, instead of setting up Airport, they are just going Upper City hard, completely ignoring Starport, which is considered to be the best trading spot on the map. But instead, they've completely foregone it and are pushing across to Upper City instead. EMP is more than happy to take the south side of the map, though, as they set up with their 3 cap of Epsilon, Sigma, and Kappa. However, Epsilon will not last long for EMP, as JGX is just now getting that in the Upper City. Naveed just probably stopping to check if it's clear before he gets it, or he's going to avoid it to not telegraph where they are. But however, Jiffy just fired, so any element of stealth has been lost. Chimera in the Death Strike is trying to get across the water to get to a safe spot to poke from. It seems Bowser is either covering his rear or making sure that Sigma is not taken from them, as EMP still has the 3 cap, and it seems neither team really wants to push yet. Or JGX is slowly advancing, but EMP just doesn't want to take that fight. They're just backing off and trying to hold their 3 cap, which is soon going to become a 4 cap as Stimrog is on Gamma. So JGX needs to push right now, or else EMP will have this match within about 2 minutes or so, as the cap points will become almost irreversible. Dured takes a big hit from Nate's Veagle. However, he backs off, and Selith and One Last Bite are just poking and prodding in the city. Both teams still don't want to commit just yet, and it seems JGX is kind of being put on the back foot here, as not all of their traders can be brought to bear in all these close quarters. You have Naveed running for Sigma, see if he can turn the cap, but he's pushed back as Chimera with the Overwatch. Dargor trying to trade against Chimera. Chimera is still at 86%, not taking too much damage yet. However, he is put under fire, down to 79%. And Dargor in the Timberwolf gets halved. He's not long for this world. As long as Selith keeps trying to put the pressure, or Bowser comes from the side. However, Bowser just seems to be content to hold on to Sigma here. Stimrock gets the first kill on Naveed. And it seems JGX is slowly getting pushed and slowly getting collapsed. However, Chimera is also taking a lot of damage here. If Nate and Veagle and Jiffy in the Executioner decide to focus him, he's going to drop quick. Let's just see how damaged he is. He is open head and open side, so the open head is what's giving him the red. However, he still has a little bit of fight left in him. And Chimera gets halved, and you have Dario in the Flea currently trying to tie up Bowser. However, it seems to be a fight he's not willing to fully commit to, instead of just trying to poke and prod. However, JGX does not have time to stall here. The caps are almost completely in favor of EMP, and Chimera goes down due to the focus fire of Data and Dargor, as Lizzie in the Upper City still getting the shots that he can. Selith in the Bellinarius taking down Nate's Veagle, and it's now Selith and One Last Bite against Jiffy. Bowser the linebacker takes out the Flea. Jiffy drops from One Last Bite, and it seems that it's down to the 3 JGX max as EMP now goes into the cleanup as One Last Bite goes down due to a back shot, I believe. So now it's Dargor against Selith. Selith is banged up. I don't think he wants to take this fight. However, he is confident that his team will win. However, he does go down. You have Bowser, who's also not long for this world. However, EMP has the 5 cap now. So no matter what Dargor and Kras do, EMP has won this drop. And it seems EMP knows that, as they're backing off, not fully committing, and One Last Bite takes out Dargor. Now we are down to Krasnopesky as the last player alive in this match for the JGX side. And One Last Bite takes him down. Oh, thank God. I thought that was the radio cast for a moment. Whew. Lordy, that scared me. All right, let's get these stats rolling. All right, let me get this map strat up as well while we let the teams do their thing to set up for round 2. So one thing we immediately noticed right off the bat is that I don't want to say it's a NASCAR, but that's kind of what it was on the map where, let's see, River City Conquest, where you see EMP spawning heavy Alpha Lance with a lot of their fast movers and just rushing straight across to get Sigma Kappa, and eventually do come around to get Theta, as JGX was unable to grab that. And JGX, instead of going to the starport, which was typically common for a lot of Team 1 sides, they instead committed the entire team to go around Bridge, Upper City into Epsilon, and then set up into the Fox 5 Peninsula Lower City area. And at that point, the two teams had really just swapped sides, with EMP sort of controlling these large POIs, able to get a lot of trading from here with their lights in the water, and then JGX kind of being corralled in the city, just unable to get those shots in that they needed. And all the while, EMP managed to get Sigma, Kappa, Theta, and Gamma, so just setting up the 4 cap, which means that they no longer have to push JGX. So even though EMP had the map advantage, they were just more able to poke and prod at JGX at their leisure. Now, if we pull up the damage scores here, this is the wrong match. If you can give me a moment, sorry about that. Map stats. Hello. Let's try this again. It is still the wrong match. Oh, that's why. I'm not logged in. The scope of my genius sometimes, it's scary, you know? Oh crap, how do I claim this match? Uh-oh. It looks like there will be no scores, but do not worry, for I have the backup, and that is I can load it manually. So we see top damage from the EMP side going to Lizzie in the Timberwolf at 558. And then Chimera coming in second at 435. However, he was one of the first EMP mechs picked, so that was definitely one of the larger drawbacks there on his damage score. Top damage on the JGX side going to Data in the Nightjeer, which I believe was 3 AC-10s, 1 ERPPC. However, one big thing we want to highlight here is One Last Bite getting 3 kills and 4 assists in his Vulcan. So even though his damage was far from top, he definitely got a lot of those kills and a lot of the assists, and pretty much tapped every mech in the game. And as you saw, he was getting a lot of those pot shots in and a lot of those flanking shots. So even though the Vulcan did not give top damage, the work it did was absolutely paramount to EMP's victory. All right, let me set this back to the map strat before I forget, because God help me, I will. All right, JGX is locked for map 2, which is Mining Collective. So now we are just waiting for EMP to lock as we go from there. All things considered, though, that was a very heavy-handed victory for EMP round one, and I'm curious if that's going to set the tone. There are some teams in MWO Comp, in fact, a few even Div A teams that are very, I want to say, momentum-based, to the point that if they do not perform well in round one, they will continue to perform less than their top ability in round 2, 3, 4, and 5, and just sort of snowballing downward. Now, these are two teams that are very experienced and very powerful in what they do, so I would not expect JGX to lose morale after a round 1 loss, especially since if they win even 2 drops, they come out Div A on top. So JGX, in order to come out on top of Div A, they just need to stay cool, they need to stay collected, and they just need to know that it's not about winning the 3-2, it's not about winning this week, it's just about getting those 2 drops to win the Div. EMP, on the other hand, as the lower seed for this fight, they need to bring their A game. They need to win 4 drops in order to make sure that this goes to the tiebreaker to even have a chance of winning Div A. As we are waiting, and EMP is now locked, and we are going on to mining drop 2. Come on, OBS. There we go. Alrighty, here we go. Mining's been a map that's sort of been on the MWO comp scene. It's kind of like Canyon, where it's been considered one of the best comp maps in the game for a long time. So I don't want to say this map has become a little cookie cutter, but as far as abilities and as far as strats go, almost everything has been fleshed out at some point. Alrighty, so on the JGX side, we have Dario in the Flea, Dargor in the Summoner, Orso in the Vapor Eagle, Data in the Madcap Mark II-1, so that's the trading one. They're all trading variants, but you get my point. Naveed in the Firestarter S, Krasnopesky in the Vulcan, and Jiffy in the Executioner. Imperial is bringing Selith in the Nova, very strange choice, very unusual. Bowser in the Timberwolf, Stimrog in the Firestarter, Lizzie in the Annihilator, Dored in the Wolfhound. I don't think I've ever seen him not run that mech. One Last Bite in the Veagle, and Chimera in the Deathstrike. Now you have Stimrog and Selith trying to get the early pick on Theta, as both teams have a 2-cap, so the first team to get Theta will get the 3-cap. You have trading going on the, I want to say this is the southern front of the map, as you have Naveed up front, just keeping Overwatch. I think he's trying to deny that cap more than anything else. However, Selith will get Theta. It might just be a sliver cap, as Dario seems to be running up to interrupt. But no, Dario will stay to the low ground, letting EMP get the full cap on Theta, which will give them the 3-cap. However, Sigma is sliver capped, barely touched. So if Dario in the Flea does run over, he can interrupt that almost immediately. And we just have some opening trading here. Nobody taking a lot of damage yet. Stimrog down to 83% in the Firestarter, but he seems to be backing off. As Chimera in the Deathstrike, just holding the back of the map with the 4 ER Large, 2 ER Med, 2 Gauss rifles. So that breaks Heat Spike by quite a bit, but it allows him to have the range that he needs to just sit at the map. Dargor already at 78% in the Summoner. He's taken a disproportionate amount of damage to all the other JGX mechs, so if I were him, I would be sitting much more in the back, playing much more carefully, trying to let his teammates pick up more of that slack, as he needs to stay alive. He needs to keep those guns on the field, or else he'll give EMP a very early advantage. Is Data running in his Madcat? Data's just running the 4 ER Large 2 Gauss, same as Chimera, minus the 2 ER Meds, but that is the boon of the Deathstrike, is those extra 2 energy hardpoints. As Bowser in the Timberwolf is now trading, Bowser isn't moving. Bowser seems to have disconnected with his Timberwolf, running a bit of an unconventional build, 4 ER Meds, one large pulse, one heavy large. I wonder if one of his meds have already been crit out. But Bowser's not moving. He looks to be a DC, and JGX knows that. They are trying to take him out before he can reconnect, as Bowser is one of the top players MWO has ever seen. So if they get him out, and they do, even if he reconnects, he is out of this fight, which gives JGX a very early lead. As JGX seems to know that, and they are now pushing on the southern front of this map, completely ignoring Epsilon, and one last bite takes out Data. So even with the trading, he is gone, and you have Lizzie and the Annihilator all the way in the back of the map. What is he running on that mech? 2 ER Peeps, 4 Light Goss, a very large extreme build, and Dored takes out Dargor in the Summoner, coming up on him at center, and just absolutely destroying him. And Selith in the Nova, Dored in the Wolfhound. Somehow, EMP has the kill lead here. Even though with the loss of Bowser, however, you have Dario behind Lizzie. The Flea takes out the Annihilator. Will he get out of this in time? It seems everybody else has started to ignore the Flea because they are getting pushed. Selith in the Nova coming out and just taking out Naveed, cutting him in half. As now Selith in the Nova is now going to press in. What does he have on this Nova? Small Pulse and ER Micros. As Chimera takes out Kraz, somehow, even though they lose one of their heavy mechs and gives JGX an opening to push, EMP still has the lead here. It's only 2 more kills. It's down to Jiffy in the Executioner, Dario in the Flea, and Dario goes down. It's just now Jiffy. EMP has won this somehow. Unless Jiffy can somehow go on the epic rampage here, but it seems not, as he's now in the red. Not Dored the player, but the red as in his health. And he may get Selith down, but he's not long for this world, as he does get Selith. And now you have Chimera coming in with only the 2 ER larges. Oh, and will Jiffy get down Chimera? He does not. Stimraw gets him with the back shot, and somehow EMP losing Bowser, losing their heavy mechs, one of the best players in this game, they still come out on top. Wow. Let's get that scoreboard running. While the scoreboard is queuing, though, we are going to go to the map strat. So, one thing we saw very early here is that EMP set up... Wait a minute, was EMP team 1? EMP was team 2. EMP set up in the very back of the map. Like, all the way back here, completely willing to trade from extreme range, with the most upfront mechs being the Firestarter and the Nova on Theta, and then Bowser in the Timberwolf here. Now JGX setup. Some people call them cakes. Some people call them OP tubes, but you know what I mean. So they set up here. However, once Bowser DC'd and was lost here, JGX just hard pushed right through the Epsilon line. I was right. It was the southern end of the map. And then they started to wrap around the back and sort of just walked into EMP's firing line. However, I believe the big point that won them the match was you had Data and you had Dargor in the Madcap Mark II and the Summoner come up and start to trade from Theta, and you had Selith and you had Dored come through Theta and just obliterate them from behind. A Nova and a Wolfhound taking out a Summoner and a Madcap Mark II, a huge tonnage trade. And then they were clear to just come through Epsilon 5, low ground, and just take out a lot of JGX mechs from behind and get them turned. And then at that point, it was an EMP victory, done deal. Alright, so let's get this scoreboard up. Now, let's see. Jiffy getting top damage in the Executioner 611. That's actually top damage in the entire match. However, he only has 1 kill and 2 assists, as Dario in the Flea was the one who took out the Annihilator and Krasnopesky getting the kill on Bowser. Though, as I point out, Bowser did disconnect, and it was sort of an open kill. Now, typically, if a mech disconnects, there are two thought processes a team has. The first thought process is he's not a threat, ignore him, kill everything else, come back to him later. However, it seems that JGX decided to go the other way, as they were worried about him coming back and then potentially having an untouched Timberwolf, might even be in their backline at that point. So they wanted to get him out, get him down quick, just to make sure that in the slight case that he does come back, they wanted him off the field immediately. Which, you know, it just sort of shows how two different teams, regardless of their skill, might approach that issue, because there are valid points to each. However, JGX choice here was very clear-cut. As, let's see, Bowser is back in the lobby, so it seemed to be a short-term issue, as we are now going to drop 3 Terra Therma EMP with those 2 wins now. If they come out with the next 2, Div A goes to the tiebreaker, which will fall to EMP if they win this round. So EMP just needs to keep their head on straight, just get 2 more wins, and they come out Div A crowned. JGX, on the other hand, knows they're not out of the count yet, because even though they have lost round 1 and they have lost round 2, they only need to win 2 more rounds. So round 3, round 4, 4 and 5, 3 and 5, it does not matter. That's all JGX needs in order to come out on top here. And I don't believe that they, and like I said before, there are teams that do get shaken after a painful round 1 and round 2 loss. However, I don't believe that's the case for JGX here. I believe they have the experience to continue forward, to keep giving it their all over and over and over again until this fight is over. And that is what I'm looking forward to, and that's what's going to make this a great match. All right, give me one moment. Let me double check something before we go into Terra Therma. Alrighty. EMP has locked, and now they are waiting for JGX, who is still waiting on the 6th player to join the lobby. Orso has come and gone, as now they are getting Grolsch in. So it seems that JGX is trying to bring in some of their mechs, or not some of their mechs, but some of their pilots. Meanwhile, the EMP roster has not changed at all. Alrighty. Let's see. JGX, still waiting for them to lock. EMP locking in at 430 tons. And JGX, ready? Locked? Are we going? Are we doing this? Are we going to round 3? Are we going to round 3? I believe we are. We're going to Terra Therma, round 3. Terra Therma is another one of those maps. So for those of you who have not played MWO since, I think this is before the Steam release. Terra Therma was a very different map. It was all about the caldera that was off from the side. In fact, I'll actually go show it to players right now who are not familiar with it. But this caldera was the center of the map, and everything else went around it. And that made it a bane for a lot of comp players because it was NASCAR map, and it just wasn't a very... It wasn't a very variety-based map. However, the current Terra Therma is a very unusual map in the sense now that unlike other MWO maps for comp, there are a lot of viable strats and a lot of different ways to play it. And it is also one of the largest comp maps in the game in the sense that it takes a while to get to where you are to where you're wanting to go, and that makes it one of the maps where just even a 2 kph speed boost is enough to make a large difference. So, JGX, you have Kraz, Pesky in the Black Lantern, Dario in the Flea, Grolsch in the Annihilator, Data in the Bloodass, Dargor in the Nightjeer, Naveed in the Firestarter, Nate in the Summoner. EMP, you have One Last Bite in the Rifleman, Selith in the Black Lantern, Chimera in the Deathstrike, Lizzie in the Bloodass, Bowser in the Nightjeer, Stimrog in the Flea, the Red goes to Faster in a Firestarter. So it seems there aren't a lot of differences here in their actual mech drop decks. Let's see. You swap the Annihilator for a Madcap Mark II, and you swap the Summoner for a Rifleman 2C. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's almost a mirror match. EMP getting Theta and just ignoring all the other caps as they get the early cap on center. JGX getting Gamma, also ignoring caps. And it looks like it's just going to be a trade fest. You have Selith in the Black Lantern and Bowser in the Nightjeer, both in the perfect spots to make sure that JGX cannot take Theta. You have One Last Bite slowly climbing up in the Rifleman, and that makes it on EMP to make sure that they do not get pushed or they do not fall behind, as right now it is a 6v7 until the Rifleman can be brought to bear. You have Stimrog in the Flea going to get Sigma, and you have Dario in the Flea going to get Kappa, and EMP is sending Dered in the Firestarter to get Epsilon, which will put it at a 3 cap in EMP's favor. One Last Bite, still climbing up, still trying to get that Rifleman to where he needs to go. He is taking the slower route by avoiding the lava, but he is preserving his leg damage, and any Rifleman aficionados know that mech strips a lot of leg armor. You can't afford lava damage. And you have Naveed and Kraz and the Firestarter and the Black Lantern going around to swap, but we are going to take away from that temporarily as One Last Bite is almost up top in the Rifleman, almost ready to get his shots as he can rain down fire, and the only mech that will be able to oppose him will be Dargor in the Nightjeer. And the mechs up top, they don't get a lot of damage. They don't get a lot of kills. But one thing that they offer is unbelievable map control. As Dario's running for the Flea, he's running to go get Theta as he's going to get it. And in return, you have Stimrog and the Flea going to get Kappa, which will preserve EMP's 4 cap, as Naveed and Kraz have chosen not to go around the side, but instead just to push down the middle, and they get Bowser immediately, as they are immediately going to fall back. They are happy with that one pick, as Dargor has now come up top, and he's tearing, or One Last Bite has gone up top, and he's tearing into Dargor. Dargor is not long for this world, as One Last Bite has absolutely destroyed him, and is now a full brawl out in the center, as Selith has run in the Bellinarius. He's going to try to get that kill. Oh no, he has no weapons except for that one head laser, and he goes down due to Grolsch. EMP has lost 3 mechs, and now JGX is just taking the center as they please. Dargor is still up top, has not taken any damage yet, as he's just firing as he pleases. He's going for Nate in the Summoner, as everybody else is in cover from Dargor. Dario and the Flea now trying to push Lizzie with the support of Nate, and Dario takes down the Blood Asp, and now it is down to one last bite up top in the Rifleman as he is about to drop down into the fray. You have Stimrog and Dored both going around for caps. However, Dored is getting chased by Dario and the Flea as one last bite drops. Can he get a kill? Can he get that one last shot that he needs? Is he able to finish off Dargor? But he looks to be unable as Nate will push him in the Summoner, and the Rifleman just can't beat the Summoner in a one-on-one fight, especially when he's missing an arm. He's down to 3 AC2s and he self-destructs. So now it is down to 2 EMP light mechs, one of which is trying not to engage Dario and the Flea. Oh, Dored is in an Ember. What do you have? 4 Med Pulse, 4 MGs. As, let's see, who else is it? It's Stimrog and the Flea. Just running as long as he can. Going to interrupt the fight on, or going to interrupt Kappa. Let's see, how damaged is Kraz though? Kraz is banged up. He is open leg, but he is still full firepower. And that 6 small pulse, 5 ER or micro should be enough to just obliterate a Flea up close. However, Stim's not going to get close. I think he knows that. Kraz will use the ramp in order to go. Why is it so fucking hard to click? Kraz will use the ramp to cover his leg. However, Stim will still get the leg, and even though he cannot take back Kappa, he can slow it down, as you have Nate in the Summoner coming to get it. After legging Kraz, he's just more than content to leave. And how are things going with Dored? He is now caught in a fight against Naveed and Dario, the Flea and the Firestarter against the Ember. And this is not a fight that the Ember can win, as Dored is not long for this world. He is about to go down. And that's it. So now we are down to Stimrog. The sole player against the world. He needs to get that shot on the leg. And Nate is shielding it very well. However, Kraz is still legged up top. So if he comes back... Oh, Kraz gets the leg shot! Kraz snipes him for the leg, and that is the end of Stimrog. As JGX has won round 3 on Terra Firma. Let's get these match stats before I forget. Procaster. All right, let's get these scoreboards up and running. There we go. So, one last bite, getting top damage of the entire lobby, but he was up top with those 6 AC2s just farming away as he pleased. However, he didn't get the kill. In fact, EMP did not get a single kill that match. We do have Dargor down at 19% in his Night Gear, somehow managing to stay alive. And then, let's see, we have top damage on the JGX side going to Krasnopesky in the Black Lantern, but this was a very low damage match on almost all around, with One Last Bite being the only one breaking 600 damage, or even breaking 400 damage, as not a single JGX player breaks 400. However, it doesn't seem to matter, as they ruthlessly tore a lot of EMP mechs apart with their center push. And now we are going on to round 4, with the score being 2-1 to EMP's favor. However, winning this week, as I said, it's not important. JGX only needs to win one more round to come up top in Div A. And Viridian Bog, did this map ever get a rework? No. Viridian Bog is one of the few MWO maps that did not ever get a rework. It has stayed the same since the start, and it's also one of the few maps not included in faction play. The way you tell is if you're newer, then a map that you don't spawn in the drop ships. It is a map that has never gotten a rework, and it is also a map that is not available in FP, as you just spawn on the ground. And Viridian Bog is another map that plays a bit unusually in comp. It's not a map that has too much variety, but it is a map that has 3 different tiers of elevation, and that alone gives it a very unusual feel compared to some of the more flatter MWO maps. All right. Oh god, the lobby's down to 8 people. Come on, guys. I can't cast a match like this. I needed 7v7. Come on. EMP starting to fill out. It's a 5v5. We're almost at a full blood league. Come on. Wasn't there a 5v5 league like a year ago? No. The 5v5 league was that Tor? Who knows? It doesn't matter, because right here, right now, we're doing Blood League, and that is a 7v7. Alrighty. EMP. Finally hitting 7 players in the lobby. Finally fielding a full team. It took time, but we're there. We got it. Now, just JGX. Get it, please. Come on. 7 players. You have so many, because you've been cycling them. I know you have so many players. Though, to be fair, EMP has, like, the biggest roster out of all the teams signed up for this league. Pretty sure they have 20 players. Gonna check that here in a moment. Actually, screw it. I'm gonna check it now. Tournament has 2 O's. That's right. Blood League. Division A. EMP has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. EMP has 32 players on their roster. Technically, though, it's 30 because St. Pauli, his alt account is St. Paul, and Fission's alt account is Fusion, and they're both in there, so it's -2. So EMP has 30 players on their roster. So I guess I can't really say JGX has a lot of pilots when EMP has the biggest roster of this entire league. However, we're finally at that 7v7. Grolsch is back in the game. I don't believe JGX is cycling any pilots. I think they're keeping the same player comp here. Let me check that. No, they are swapping Dargor out for Jiffy. That's it. So JGX remaining true. They have swapped out a single pilot every single match. Give me a moment. I need a tater tot. Blessed be tater tots. Hey, both teams are locked. We can get this started. Let's go. I anticipate 5 seconds until we launch. I have time for another tater tot. Oh crap. It just occurred to me. I forgot to put who won each drop in the overlays. And I won't have time to set that up before the next cast. So today's double feature. Have I said today that today is a double cast? Well, it is. If you stay tuned after this, there will be another Div A match immediately after. I don't remember who though. Alright. So on the EMP side, you have Bowser and the Bloodass. One Last Bite in the Veagle. Mag in the Timberwolf. Where are they? Mag in the Timberwolf. Stimrog in the Grinner. Chimera in the Deathstrike. Lizzie in the Nightjeer. Selith in the Nova again. I gotta say, that is not a mech I expected to see in this comp league. Then you have Dario in the Flea. Grolsch in the Annihilator, Jiffy in the Executioner, Krasnopesky in the Black Lantern. You have Naveed in the Vulcan, Nate in the Summoner, Data in the Nightjeer. So not a lot of mech changes in their compositions here, and both teams are now waiting for a shot to take Theta. Kraz might be giving up though on it though. And Stimrog, is he going to go in and take it? There's a Salt Mech trading going on. But a lot of this match will hinge on who can get the 3 cap and who can get Theta. Or, I guess not. I guess nobody cares about that. Okay. We gotta fight, boys. What do you have on your Bloodass? 4 large pulls and 1 Goss. And he's already started to cook himself a little bit. Hey, there we go. Stimrog's getting Theta in the Grinner. And I would have thought that the Wolfhound 2 with 6 medium pulse would have been the choice here, but oh, we have a JGX Wolfhound. I mean, not Wolfhound, Wolfpack coming to get Epsilon, and EMP seems to be none the wiser. They have no scouting on this side of the map whatsoever. Chimera might have lines. Oh, and Bowser has seen it. Chimera, does he have lines? Is he able to hit it? Nope, he's going to drop instead. Apparently he did not like his trades there. Stellith's going in the Nova. However, Naveed and Kraz are staying hidden. They want to appear as if it's just a fleet. I believe they're trying to bait Stellith to push. But Selith is not going to take the bait, but it does not matter as Kras and Naveed are ready to spring into action, and here they go. It is going to be a Black Lantern and a Vulcan against the Nova, and Selith is trying to back off. JGX not willing to push. I wonder if they know that there's a Timberwolf and a Naveagle here ready to back up, along with Stimrog in the Grinner. And you still have Bowser trading on the other side of the map. Grolsch and his Annihilator still at 100%. Somebody chip that paint, please. Thank you. All right, Grolsch running the 3 AC10, 1 AC5, 1 Light Peat build. Then you have Bowser and Chimera just trading from the far. EMP has lost the cap lead, but they don't seem to mind much. Oh, Selith and the Wolfhound. I mean, everybody's just in the Wolfhound in the eyes of Teos. Selith and the Nova has been halved. As Stimrog and Mag move up to support him to take Epsilon. And they take it back, and soon they will have re-established a cap lead, but they will now have established a 3 cap. Oh. Stellith and Simrog, though. Just fine. Just willing to sit there. Are we in the calm before the storm? Is JGX moving to prepare the push? Have they gone radio silent to not telegraph any of their movements? Is Grolsch going around to kill Bowser? I must know. Apparently not. Well, I mean, I guess he could be going around to kill Bowser. He is in the slowest mech in the game, the Annihilator. However, he has shot to telegraph that he's there. One last bite, hitting him with the peeps, and then backing off. Grolsch is going to back off and do the same. JGX has kind of started to experience a lull. It seems that they are trying to group up, or at least trying to make a move for something, and that something is Theta. Dario and the Flea getting Theta. Krasnopesky here caught in the low ground, though. Unable to get out due to the fact that the Black Lantern does not have jump jets, and neither does the Flea. His only way out is to just mask his way the hell out of there. Same with the Flea. But he seems to be worried to run through that open ground, as that will give Dario and that will give Stimrog the shots they need to maybe put them down. And EMP is now grouping up, completely ignoring Theta as they're going for the push. Selith is going to lead, which does make sense as he has the least amount of firepower. He is the best canary in the coal mine here, except instead of smoke killing you in this coal mine, it's going to be an Annihilator. However, he may not get the kill though, as he gets halved. But will he be able to get the kill? Will he be able to get the kill? He's not even going for Selith, even though Selith is the easy kill. He's just trying to put every shot he can into Chimera to get as much damage as he's able, but he whiffs. That may have been the shot that he needed to turn the tide, but he misses that shot. And now the first mech has gone down. It is Grolsch, and EMP is now ready to collapse on these 3 JGX mechs, as the other 3 are caught in the dust coming from the Epsilon side, and JGX is capping Epsilon, giving them the 4 cap. That may be enough to turn the match if EMP is too slow to get the kills that they need to win. Even though Mag will be able to take Theta here, Jiffy does come up and kill Selith, which is 1 less mech on the ground to get the cap. So even though EMP has a colossal amount of health advantage here, it may not be enough. As Bowser is in the low ground, does he know that there is an executioner above him? Does he know that all Jiffy needs to do is look down and start firing? He has hit Lizzie in the back, but he was unable to get the kill. He is going to drop. He doesn't know that the Blood Asp is there, and Bowser's just waiting for the back shot, and he destroys him from behind. And now it's down to Nate, trying to get out of there, trying to live, trying to prolong this match for as long as he can. See if he can get that 3 cap. See if he can use that cap lead to his advantage. All JGX needs to do here is stall. It is a 3v4. However, EMP has a colossal advantage here, as he drops, but it's not enough to save him for 1 last bite getting the kill. So now it is down to JGX Flea, which is Dario and Data in the Night Gear, both who are just a hairbreadth away from death. As Dario comes in, he loses an arm, but will he be able to get 1 last bite before this is over? If he gets one last bite, he does not. And that brings JGX down to 1 cap. Even if Data gets Gamma, I think this match is over in EMP's favor, but they don't seem to know where Gamma is. If JGX wins this, I will eat all of my tater tots in 1 bite, and I will turn on the webcam for you all to see. Data pulling back, trying to dodge the shot. Can he get the kill? Can he get the kill on bite? They're both 1 touch from death. Let me click on you, I swear to Christ. But Stimrog behind in the grinner. Dario just, not Dario, but Data just wants the kill shot, and he doesn't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but you don't get to see me eat any of my tater tots. That being said, though, EMP has won round 4. It is 3-1. EMP just needs to win round 5 in order to come up on top of this Division A of Blood League, which would crown them the Blood League champions. Let's publish those stats. Alrighty, so once again, 1 last bite, getting top damage and 4 kills. Hats off to you, dude. A 55-ton mech, getting top damage and 4 kills. A Pop-Tart, no less. Hats off to you, my guy. Top damage on the JGX side, going to Jiffy once again in his Executioner. I believe 16 team damage is also the most team damage we've seen this match, which is good because these teams are careful, and I like that. As we go to our final map, which is Forest Colony Snow Classic. Another map that I'm just gonna keep doing map history because why not? The classic maps of Forest Colony, Forest Colony Snow, Frozen City, Frozen City Night. Those 4 maps, along with Canyon Network, were the original MWO maps before any other maps were put in the game. And then Piranha Games reworked Forest Colony and is now the Forest Colony map we have today. A lot of people didn't like that. They believe that the classic map was much better due to the fact that the new Forest Colony shows that bigger does not always mean better, and as such, the 4 classic maps were added back into the game. And if you ask me, they are some of my personal favorites. As even though they're smaller maps, they still allow for range strats, and anybody who knows me knows that I am a very aggressive and very impatient player. So maps like this that really allow you to start and get right to the action within seconds of going, it's really nice. It really sates a lot of the bloodlust that these players have. And yet regardless of that, regardless of it being a small map, it still leaves a lot of room for a lot of variety. There's still range strats, there's still NSR strats, If any of you watched SA play this map in Div B, SA played a hard range strat every single time. Where if you watched teams like, say, I want to say it was Erie on this map, Erie did a hard push strat every single time, and they're both equally valid. So JGX is now locked for the final match of this event. And then we will have a double event of, I feel like it's part of my duties to know who I'm going to cast next. So if you can give me one moment. Aha! Omen versus KDCM, which is another Div A match, which will happen about 15 minutes or so after this. And if you allow me to check the standings, this match cannot get KDCM to rank 2 in the division. However, if KDCM manages to pull off a 4-1 victory, they actually, give me one moment to see if a 3-2 will get it. Where did KDCM fight RJF? KDCM did beat RJF. So KDCM, if they beat Oops with a 3-2, then they will get third place in this div. And let's see, where did Oops fight RJF? Okay, so if Oops 5-0s KDCM, that will put them at a tie for third place with RJF. And for those of you who don't know, that is the Russian Jade Falcon team, another team that has been around the comp scene for a very long time. So even though it'll put them at a tie, the tiebreaker will put RJF on top. So if Oops even gets if Oops gets a 4-1 victory or a 5-0, they will be in fourth place. And if KDCM can get a 4-1 victory, they will be in third place. Or even if they get a 3-2. My bad. Math is hard. JGX is locked. We are now waiting on EMP. And JGX, for once, they have not swapped any of their players. They are staying solid, absolute. Their roster is set in stone. Alrighty. Let's see this happen. JGX bringing a direwolf. Yes, my baby. A direwolf, a stalker, a summoner, a black lantern, a flea, a veagle, and a fire starter. EMP is bringing Executioner, Firestarter, Nova again, Flea, Annihilator, Rifleman 2C, that's the ER large variant, and the Veagle. I mean, this is cool and all, but what's in the Direwolf? 4 ER large and 2 Gauss rifles. Interesting. I'm surprised he chose that over the Madcap Mark II. Though I guess the Direwolf can have a minus 10% heat quirk if you build that, right? EMP has the 3 cap. However, Kappa is living on a prayer. Somebody just has to walk through it for a second and not be contested, and it'll go back to a yellow cap point. Stimrog seemed to be prepared to stop that. However, he is now backing off to support his team as Naveed and the Firestarter. Is he going to go up and he's not going to challenge that. He saw the Executioner and he saw the Veagle and he went, nah. He decided life is good. And he wants to keep life. So, and the trading fest will continue as you have one last bite, pretty much pop-tarting against the entire team. Not a lot of damage on either side, with the lowest being Grolsch at 78% in the Stalker. However, anybody who knows the Stalker knows that the Stalker rolls damage like a god, so doesn't matter. He's fine. It's like a commando, except it's big. It's not that much. It's not that powerful, but you get my point. As the match seems to be achieving a lull, both teams are just taking those pokes, and we know that the moment one team sees an opening, the moment one mech gets opened, halved, legged, anything like that, the other team is just going to push. And the winner of this drop wins Division A. It all comes down to this. This single drop on Forest Colony Snow Classic will come down to it. As one last bite gets halved in the Veagle. Never mind, he only lost an arm. Disappointing. Lizzie and the Rifleman down to 70%. Annihilator is Chimera running the quad ERP dual light Gauss, and he's just not taking a lot of damage as he's trading with Grolsch in the Stalker, bringing him down to 56% as we go over here to see how they're doing. Data down to 65, Grolsch down to 51. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it doesn't... Oh! Kraz gets the pick! Kraz gets the pick on Selith. I don't know if that was a backshot or not. Can I check? Oh my god, I can. No, Selith will just lose both sides, and now JGX, like I said, they got that pick, and now they are going to push. They are just going to rush straight in. Still playing it a little bit careful, but they're trying to get the pick on one last bite now, as he's now doing everything he can in order to get out of this alive. Stimrog and the Flea coming in, but does he know what he's coming into? Kraz definitely saw him, and as soon as that happens, Stimrog pulled back, as now it is down to a 7v6 in JGX's favor, with one last bite not being long for this world. The mechs in the water seem to also know that he is hurt, and they are coming in to support. However, they're going to be met by Chimera and Lizzie as Data takes down one last bite. And it is now an assault and a heavy against an assault and a heavy out in the water. However, Dario and the Flea is coming by to get those shots. However, Chimera is seeing red. He's seeing blood. He only wants to go for those mechs. However, Data is coming around behind. Chimera does know that he needs to turn around, but Data is coming around the corner. He takes down Losing the rifleman as Bowser with the back shot takes down Data, and now it's Chimera going against Naveed in the Firestarter and Kraz in the Black Lantern, and Chimera is not long for this world as he gets halved. No, he's a stick, and Chimera goes down due to Jiffy, and now it's Red in the Ember against Dario and the Flea. They're both super banged up. However, the big difference is Dario has friends to run back to, and Red does not, as he is on his own. Naveed is at 37% in his Firestarter, and yet has not lost any components. Kraz at 37%. However, everybody who knows the Black Lantern knows that as soon as that arm is gone, he is down to just one single lonely medium pulse, as it's down to Bowser in the Executioner, trying to get as many shots as he can as Red takes out the arm, and Kraz is now one touch. Will Red finish him to get the kill? He does! So now it is a... Ooh, and Bowser gets Jiffy as well. It is now a 4v2. However, Naveed takes down Red, and you have Nate coming in the low ground, but he doesn't know where Bowser is as Bowser drops and takes out that arm. It's quiet now. However, even if Bowser gets all 4 kills, he is hard pressed to turn around a 4-cap. This does seem like JGX will come out on top of Division A, unless Bowser pulls a miracle move that even I don't see how it can happen. And he goes down to Grolsch. That is it. JGX has won Division A of Blood League. It came down to one single drop as JGX comes out only 1 point ahead, where even if EMP got that point, even if it ended up in a tie, it would have gone to EMP. Bowser in the Executioner giving 797 damage, doing as much as he could, but in the end it wasn't enough. Seliph getting double D'd. He did get that. He did get the early pick on him, and I believe that is what started the snowball down to JGX's favor. Alrighty, if you can give me one moment, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to temporarily mute the stream so I can get set up for our next match, which is Oops versus KTCM. Now, this was the match for Division A first place. The match we are going to now will be the match for Div A third and fourth place. So just give me one moment, and I'll be back with you shortly.